Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cut to the Feels. This is our very first episode. We appreciate your support. So, given this is the first episode, please forgive the bad quality. We promise it will never be like this ever again. But here it is.
Welcome to Cut to the Field. Yay! This is our first episode ever.
Mm-hmm.
I this vo- you will never see our faces, so
100%.
this is going to be fully audio forever. I'm Mary,
And I'm Sully.
and so basically, this is going to be a podcast around basically movie reviews. We're gonna review movies, shows, books. But ultimately, we love talking about ourselves and each other.
That is the real reason behind this.
Yeah. But ultimately, we're gonna play games, and it's really just a hangout session. You're gonna come and hang out with us, and then each episode we'll talk about like a piece of film or whatever. And yeah, so since it's our first episode, let's talk about how we know each other.
100%.
You want to start?
I want to take it away, yes.
Please.
So this is very interesting because, I'm a very introverted person. And when I went to college, it was during 2020, so everything was, locked down. In college pages, people, submit their little bios and they're like, hey, my name is XYZ. Like, I'd like to meet these kind of people. And I saw Mary's and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I just like DM'd her. And mind you, she was the only person I DM'd. Like, I never
randomly DM'd
it?
Let's just rehash that. Was
like
it just
energy.
my beauty?
It was
the
like,
aura?
I saw myself. I was like, I feel like we're gonna have a good friendship.
Period.
5 years later, you're starting this podcast. So
here we are. Yeah, so we went to college together, met our freshman year. Yes. We lived together for 2 years also.
And I think that's where we discovered how much we love talking about movies and relating it to our like personal life and just life in general.
Yes. A typical Friday night. Before the age of 21 for me. I'll say for me. What? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So my thing. Actually, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was we would put on a movie or a show, and watch it. And then, honestly, I think the unpacking of it would be longer than the duration of the film.
And it's the funnest part of the entire thing.
And Soli is extremely insightful. Also, something I honestly, I love, obviously, love talking about this kind of stuff with you.
100%.
So insightful, so deep, always comes up with cool things before I do. But what I hated
about watching things with you,
we would be a quarter of the way through, and she would be like, "Oh, so he's cheating on her, and her boyfriend and her son, and blah, 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 blah," and then she would just figure out the whole plot. I'm like, girl.
100%. But the thing about those
kinds of movies, you're usually right, and that is obviously me off. Why would you?
It does. I know, but the thing is, like, again, what makes me like watching movies in general? To me, a good movie is one where I cannot like easily guess the plot. Like, I like to be surprised. I enjoy, being taken aback.
Yeah. I'm pretty often surprised. You are not frequently surprised.
I think regardless of the dissection part, like the end part where we both sit down and talk about the movie, regardless of whether or not we knew the plot, is just so much fun.
Yeah, I'm honestly a firm believer that, honestly, like, reflecting on the characters and, the plot and stuff like that, especially, 100%. We're both in our early 20s.
Yes.
Even though I'm the younger counterpart.
Okay, we'll have that.
But I feel like I learned a lot about myself. And about my past actions and the way we view life. And, we have a lot of similarities. We also have a lot of differences.
Yes.
And then, so navigating that is what I really love about just watching TV in general and being selective about what we watch.
That is true. Also one thing about movies is like, I watched a lot of movies. I got in trouble for watching a lot of movies when I was younger. And I think this kind of validates like the dissection part kind of validates what I get out of movies, because oftentimes I think I like watching them because I relate to the characters to a degree. But I never really realized that until like we started sitting down and talking through each character. And to like, movies usually, at least if you're like from, a household where your parents are like, instead of watching a movie, why don't you study or like do something quote unquote more productive? There's like a certain guilt associated with watching movies because you think of it as kind of a waste of time. But then when you dissect it and come to like some kind of, relatability to a character, I think that makes them more. It's kind of like going to therapy and learning more about yourself through a character. And so hopefully this podcast also helps other people start viewing movies that way as well.
Yeah. And I feel like even in reflecting on the movie and on ourselves and all of that, it helps for other people to, we'll also just share our personal experience and stuff like that. So hopefully we're passing something down or 100%. Up or whatever. And and now form of entertainment, it's like we're all having just a casual conversation together. Soli's like crazy, so it's gonna be fun. So don't worry about it, y'all. I got you.
I think we're too about Mary.
You know what? I feel like we should move to the next segment. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. I'm sure it'll come out eventually. Yeah. So, all right. So before we dive into the movie for today, we are going to play a quick game. I think that's how we're going to do it from now on.
Yes.
So today's game, and it won't be the same game every week, but for today,
the first episode,
we are going to play a little blind ranking list. Shout out to my brother for giving us this idea. All right, so I'll start, Soli. So, wait, let me find my list. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 actresses that I know you like.
Okay.
And you're going to rank them blindly, and we'll see if you agree after you're done. Okay, ready?
Okay.
All right, so let's start with Miss Sandy Bullock.
Ooh, it's very fun because she's also from like Arlington, Virginia. And I feel like
I actually forgot.
I'm like, I think I love her once I realized that.
Yeah, I was actually watching The Net earlier.
Oh, really?
But I couldn't finish it.
That was a great movie.
I watched it too.
I would rank her. It is out of 5, correct?
Yes.
Second place.
Cool.
Yeah, great movies.
How about Miss Angie Jolie?
I'm not super passionate about her. She's super cool.
I love her, just for the record.
She is, yeah, we all know that. In terms of like, I feel like I only watched maybe 3 movies that she's in. Great range though. Great actress, obviously. I would put her at number 4.
Okay, breaks my heart a little bit. That's cool.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, how about Miss Julia Roberts? That, when I picked her, it took me back to watching Eat, Pray, Love when we were on vacation a couple of months ago.
That was a great movie.
And it made me a lot more emotional than I thought. And I hadn't seen it before. But anyways, okay, so.
That was a great. I think that was the first time. I think I watched it as an adult with you for the first time and understood like the full context of the movie. It also made me want to travel to Bali. So shout out.
Highly recommended. Yeah, Eat, Pray, Love, guys. If you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Have tissues near you. Be it emotionally stable.
Yeah, it's like very much a midlife crisis kind of movie. So proceed with caution.
Yes.
I think I'd put her at number 3. Is that number 3? No, okay. Yeah.
All right, how about Miss Reese Witherspoon?
Great actress. I feel like she kind of plays the same role, like a little typecast a little bit. Not too much range. But love her movie just compared to the 5 that we have right now.
So you either have to put her number 1 or number 5.
Yeah, I think it has to be 5.
The first one is someone you absolutely hate. No, I'm playing. You actually love her.
Is it Zoe Saldana?
I'm actually so disappointed.
It has to be Zoe.
Why would you make this start of our first episode?
This is
what I mean, y'all. She predicts everything. Does that make me super predict? I don't want to unpack that right now.
But Zoe Saldana, just a bit about my girl, okay? Acting range, 100 out of 100. Just one show that I watched at first is called From Scratch. It was like a little hit on Netflix for a second. I think that is the first series that I was like, everything from beginning to end was executed to perfection. Like, you feel every emotion. Mary didn't feel that way. She was in a weird place in her life. So
I need to say it's a great show. It's a great show. But I need to say it took Sony like a week to watch it.
Yeah.
And I would come home from classes. I'm like, this little girl don't have class. But anyway, she'd be at home. And she'd be like sitting in this dead center of the couch on her
living room.
Because we watch in pairs, because we live the 3 of us. Shout out to our third roommate. We love him.
Yeah.
And just like arms crossed, feet on the ground. Doesn't even seem comfortable.
Yeah.
Just like tears rolling down her face.
Bawling.
For several days.
This is crazy because like I don't usually cry in public. You overdid when you're like in public spaces, or you cry in your room on your laptop. But the thing is, like, you don't know what's gonna get you. You're watching, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what was that? Great. Like, it inspired, actually, hopefully this is not a spoiler, but like part of our trip to Italy, like we did a summer trip, and what really drove, I think, the point, at least for me, like I even took an Italian course.
She fully took an Italian class.
I was
our last semester.
I was like, I will marry an Italian man.
So girls, don't we all want to do that?
Prepare. No, on a serious note though, it really just opened my eyes to not just culture, but like love and grief and just all the cycle of life, like letting go. And I think it's very applicable to everyone in every stage of life, like younger people, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whoever watches it, like walks away with something major, like with a big understanding of how life works and how, the evolution of like life. That's what I'm going to say. And it's just perfectly executed. Zoe can speak fluent Italian.
So I'm pretty sure she's married to
an Italian man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that helps.
And anyways, Zoe Saldana, number 1, obviously.
If you want to come as a guest on our podcast, Zoe,
please feel free.
Hit us up. Yeah.
We'll be our lives.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to your list. Marinara sauce. We're gonna do Disney movies for Mary. I also call her a marinara sauce. It's like we use a lot of interesting slang, so
you'll catch on.
You'll catch on, Okay. Pocahontas.
It's been years. Like, it's been decades.
Okay.
Did I like it when I was young? For sure.
Okay.
It didn't last long though for me. I'm gonna say 5. Not that it's bad. Yeah. It just doesn't have that emotional weight anymore.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Then next we have Beauty and the Beast.
She wasn't my girl, but I also love Emma Watson, and when she did it, I liked her more.
She liked the live action.
My girl in Disney, I like the live action.
Okay.
I'm gonna give her number 3.
Okay, number 3. That's interesting. Okay, and then we have Spirit the horse.
Okay, here's the thing about Spirit.
Okay.
So my brother and I had like the DVD and we would watch it a lot, like again and again and again. And I'm an emotional girly, you know. It got me. I think, like, as a kid, I physically didn't want to watch. Like, there were times where I felt like it was torture to sit through some of those scenes.
I agree with you.
Great film.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give it a 4 because it was so good. I couldn't take it as a kid.
You know, that's so true. I'm with you.
It was really hard. Yeah.
I think I really related to. Related is not the right word, but like I really liked the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I forget the word, but the soundtrack.
Yeah.
8 down. It was so good.
I'm with you.
Okay, 4. Okay, next up it's Frozen. Let's go.
Huge influence. I referred to a Frozen to reference my brother today, and he was like, girl,
no way.
It's about damn time. Yeah.
Wait,
no, love Frozen. Frozen. Okay. It was when it was in part 2 when when they were like looking for the voice. And they were walking, and they were already in the forest, and they were walking down the path, and Elsa was like singing and like waiting for like the echo or whatever. And then there was a part where the snowman kind of just interrupted and like completely off pitch started singing, and it was expecting that to help, and that came to my mind, and then he was like, no. Yeah.
He's like, I'm glad you loved it.
No, I loved Frozen. I don't know what it was. I know it was such a good. I think it was also that, you know, I don't know if it's like a confirmed thing, but in my head, it was like the first movie where there was love. Don't get me wrong. I love love and all that, but it was like the thing that saved them was the
sisterhood. Yes.
And that really did something. I mean, love the music and everything, but that really stuck with me. Yeah. So love Frozen.
You know, funny story about Frozen. So we're from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And born and raised. And
not born. Raised.
Oh, sorry. I was born and raised. Mary was born not in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
But basically, my mom had like, you know, you have to buy data. And she put in a lot of like, it's called cards. Like you buy it, and she bought like a 50 bir one, which should last you ideally like a few days at least. Yeah. And I took her phone and I played the Let It Go song until she ran out. And then I placed it back. I didn't say nothing. I was like, well, I'm done. I'm like, she doesn't have to know.
Yeah.
And she did not find out for a very long time. But just to say, the songs were a hit.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah. So what are you placing Frozen at?
Number 1.
Okay. We got it. Okay. So you have one more left. Princess and the Frog.
Oh no, so that's number 2?
Yes.
I'm okay.
It's gonna be number 2. But thoughts?
That. I subscribe. I like what I did. Frozen stays number 1. Love Princess and the Frog. I actually really like what I did. Yeah, I'd stick to it. I don't regret my choices.
Okay. I think 1 Frozen, 2 Princess and the Frog, 3rd Beauty and the Beast, 4th Spirit the Horse, 5th Pocahontas.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
A little part of me is like, maybe I should have put Pocahontas number 4, but it's fine. We move on.
It's fine. It's okay. It's just out of 5.
Yes. All right. So that was the game.
That was fun.
That was cute.
Cutesy.
So I think we should dive into the movie.
Okay, so the movie that we opted to watch for our first episode is called The Substance.
Yes.
The
Substance. So why did we choose it? I honestly just heard a lot of good things. Is really what it was.
Yes.
I have a cousin. Shout out cousin. You know who you are. She likes you know, horror and all that kind of stuff. That's not always my thing. But she was like, it is good. She was like, it doesn't matter. She's like, it's not necessarily horror, but she thinks me to watch it. And then a bunch of people tell me that I should watch it. I know someone that went and watched it in the theaters twice. And so just my surroundings liked it. And then Sony brought it up. And I was like, for sure, it wasn't on Prime.
Yeah.
So we dove into it. All right. So I'm thinking, so we do a quick summary, so I'm reading this off the internet just for those that did not watch it, and then we can start breaking it down. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. So, as an actress, Elizabeth Sparkle, who was played by Demi Moore, once dazzled audiences, but like her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, she has seen better days. So essentially, she's older. She loses her job leading a fitness class for a daytime TV show when a grotesque executive named Harvey, who is played by Dennis Quaid, cancels her program to make room for anyone young. Heartbroken over being unceremoniously dumped for her age, Elizabeth learns of a mysterious product called the substance, which creates a younger version of herself that will allow her to continue working in the youth-obsessed entertainment business. However, like the monsters in film Gremlin, the substance comes with a very specific set of rules. She's only to activate her younger self once, and she and her perky alter ego are to switch off every 7 days without exception. They are allegedly supposed to share the same consciousness, but as Elizabeth and her younger self, Sue, who is played by Margaret Qualley, continue with the substance, they learn about the unspoken side effects of pursuing youth at any cost. Yeah, and that's just scratching the surface, folks. Yeah. All right. So, that's the summary for you. Demi Moore, she already won a Golden Globe for it. Love that for her first award. Oh, nice. Which I was completely shocked to hear.
That's interesting.
All right. So, let's go
get into
start with impressions.
Okay.
Begin.
It's interesting because I didn't read the Google description of the movie. It's like I just saw the trailers.
Yeah.
And something that stood out to me within the first 5 minutes of the movie is I guess for any audience members, like we're gonna kind of give a lot of spoilers, obviously. Yeah. So just proceed with caution. But within the first 5 minutes of the movie, they kind of prepare her Hollywood star. And then they show how initially it was this like clean, glamorous, like
like on the Walk of Fame.
On the Walk of Fame, yes. And then after a while, it just like it starts to crack up. Like obviously with time, like people are spilling stuff over it, nobody cares, all that, etc. I think it was a good like kind of preview of the context about the movie, which is it's heavily about like women aging, not just in the entertainment industry, but like in general, how society views like specifically when it comes to like beauty of a woman in terms of like aging or showing any signs of aging. So I think that star was like a nice little intro as to like how initially everybody wants you, everybody thinks like you're the best thing ever, and then after a while, at least according to like what they're trying to say society thinks, like it doesn't matter, like nobody really sees you or cares as much because you're not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Or you're not new and shiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like
so
my initial impression.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, so I absolutely loved the movie until a certain point. And
I think
So the beginning was stunning. The cinematography, the colors, the frames, it was so nice. It starts, Demi Moore doing her thing, being her fitness instructor. And what's so funny is she looks great, even though she's older. I think she's supposed to be 50. I might be wrong, but
yeah, she's supposed to be 50. Yeah,
she looks so good, and she's doing so well. And but it was just clear that the executors weren't buying it. And then I just, it was when she got hit by a car. I believe.
Yes,
and that's why and that's why she. Oh no, yeah. And then she went to the hospital. And there was this very obviously
substance user.
Yeah, he was like if plastic surgery goes almost too well. Like he was almost
he was very
emitting light from his skin. Yeah. And like blue eye, like really blue eyes, and
very beautiful man.
I'm not shocked that she took the substance. Like I kind of was following the story. Like I was like, okay. What do you think of when the stew came out of her? Like the whole. First of all, a lot more nudity than I thought.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Wait.
Let us address that. See, it needs to be. If there's no trigger warning, you're just like, oh.
I also went in. I did not see the. I heard it was gory.
Oh,
and it was less gory than I thought, just because I heard of how gross it was. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did not expect the nudity. And this is honestly one of the very few, if not the only, movies where we see nudity not for sex.
100%. So
I was like,
I agree. I'm with you.
So in my head, as I was watching it, I was like, what is like what they made us see their naked, like almost basically fully naked bodies. I think, not for sex this time, but to really
see.
Yeah, I want to put it in an intelligent way, but it's not really coming up. But we needed to feel the full immersion.
Yes.
Of the changes. First of all, the differences in their body.
Yeah.
But also 100%. The changes throughout. Because essentially what happens is the younger version of herself, Sue, who literally is born from
her
Demi Moore's spine.
Yeah. Weird scene.
Abuses the system of these 7 days on and 7 days off. By abusing Demi Moore's body. Because she extracts some kind of liquid from her
spine.
From her spine.
Spinal fluids, right?
And essentially Demi Moore's body is like almost disintegrates over time.
Yeah.
And so I think it was important for us to see everything, because the movie was their body. The movie was the deterioration versus the perfectly, gleaming and no stretch marks, no wrinkles, and all that kind of stuff.
That really stood out to me. I think in terms of like beauty standards, I think like they really made sure like not a single discolored segment, like not a single stretch mark. Like everything was uniform and perfect, and like quote unquote, like what is supposed to be perfect, and shiny and like well placed.
She was like it was like the Barbie movie, but IRL.
But like on a lot of basically like it was crazy, but
she was a Barbie essentially. Yeah, no, she was supposed to be perfect, and she was perfect. Except it was a little more sexual in terms of like the choreography and things like that.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, very much. Like I think also. I took notes on this. Okay. Like before we get to the scene where Demi Moore starts like using the substance and etc. Like how she went from filming her workout class to her using the bathroom, and then overhearing her director or like the manager saying they need to replace her with someone younger. I think with his character as well, he's playing society and how we society view just like older or beauty standards, right? In terms of like ageism. First of all, they really drove the point home how disgusting he is. I really, because like even the angle at which he's filmed is like a little weird, right? Yeah. But also, he doesn't wash his hands when he's in the bathroom. He eats the shrimp very like just this like as someone you usually question, like someone like you, why are you judging me when you are not?
Exactly. Good? Like they really put all the effort into showing how gross he is.
Yes.
And then his completely unrealistic and literally life altering expectations he has for women.
Yes.
It's insane. Exactly. Like Demi Moore looks absolutely beautiful.
Stunning, yeah.
And I would be lucky to look like her now.
When literally.
And he's so gross. Yeah. And they have all these close-ups, like, when, again, like Tony said, he's eating shrimp and, like, the grease and the butter. And then he goes and he shakes somebody's hand. And even his disregard for, like, just how, like, how terrible that man is, and how not only does he have the power to change everything, but his expectations are just insane.
100%. Yeah. So, again, like, that happens. She gets fired from her job. And then she resorts to taking the substance, etc. This new beautiful woman is born from her spine, and there are very clear instructions as to how they alternate the bodies, right? Because it's not like this new woman is born. Basically, the instructions say 7 days in Demi Moore's body, and then 7 days in the character Sue's body. And so, kind of balances out. Like, it's a very gore scene, very... Like, I do not recommend anybody eat during the entirety of this movie, because you just, like, it's just very squeamish, especially if you're squeamish. Like, there's a lot of needles involved, all that stuff.
I really liked that. Like, it was so clean. It was. The whole movie was like, it was just so, until the end, which we will get to. But it was just so, oh my gosh, I think I just realized something as I was saying that. But anyways, it was just so precise. The instructions. The needles. It was just so user friendly, I would say, honestly. They just made it so convenient and so secure in terms of, like, your identity would never be leaked. They don't even know their name. Like, if you call them for customer support, they don't even know you have to speak, like, use your identity number, identification number. And so it was just such a clean process that it almost seemed normal.
Yes.
And I just the needles, and then the way the food was prepared, and then the font that they used. I was like, this is just, I kind of gave me Squid Games energy, just how
like the colors and like
perfected it was. Yeah, it was like, we know that this is horror. Like, this is completely, how Squid Games, like, how like Squid Games, like, when they speak to them, they're like, oh, this is a democracy, you can vote. And like, they make everything sound so okay when it's like, this is a bad situation. Literally. I had the same vibe where it was just like a user manual, like, just something 100%. So normal. Like, they send things to
when you get a prescription, you're like,
it literally. And so I was like, that kind of added to the whole, like, obviously the essence of it is society is really messed up, and the fact that it just seems so normal, it really added to that, like, we're just living in ignorant bliss, and I really liked that aspect of it. That it was very visually also just so
very nice, very great to look at. But as we're talking, like, I remembered one detail. So Demi Moore as an actress playing this, I think, is actually, like, very interesting, because she is known in Hollywood as, like, kind of, to a degree, doing too much to her face. Around, just, like, looking kind of different from what she originally looked like. And it's interesting that she took on this role, because the essence of this entire movie is, like, due to external, how society views you and how society talks about you as you age. The measures that you take to kind of keep a youthful appearance. And obviously in this world, it's like a bunch of Botox procedures, whatever, sperm whale, whatever kind of, like, whale sperm, or, like, what kind of weird things that celebrities do. To kind of, like, give a more youthful appearance, but, like, taken to an extreme. And so I think Demi playing this role is it kind of adds a layer of realness to it, because she really understands the character. She is the character.
She is the character, because I mean, I agree with everything that you said. But she also wasn't like, she had trouble getting cast in things, because they were like, you're too old for a lot of things.
100%.
So it's just on all sides. She definitely did play the character very well.
And her winning an award already is, like, kind of crazy.
I know, lovely. And maybe Oscar nomination.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically this new character Sue is, she's out in the world. She's in her first week, so she goes back to the entertainment business where Demi was working. Demi's character name is Elizabeth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Elizabeth Sparkle.
So yeah, Elizabeth Sparkle, that's Demi. So she goes on to the entertainment segment, talks to her old boss, and basically they love her. Obviously, she's got dead gorgeous, and they give her own segment, which is like another fitness, like 90s fitness class, but with like more sexualized moves, I'd say.
Yeah,
it was very interesting.
It was very interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting,
and
but then
it made me think about the dedication of the actors and actresses, like I don't know how much you would pay me to do all that, but
literally, no, it was yeah. But anyways, also shows like a bit like how, for example, when Elizabeth is Sue, like the things that Sue lives in Elizabeth's house, obviously. They exchange bodies like every week. And so the things that usually people would overlook, for example, if Demi's walking down the street, people would not notice her. When she's Sue, everybody's looking at her. When Sue was like doing a demo to the house to build like this secret room where she stores like where Sue and Elizabeth can store their bodies. A neighbor got super mad. And he was like, "What are you doing, Elizabeth?" And then when Sue opens the door, he's completely just starstruck and like apologetic. But I'm like, yeah, Elizabeth is gorgeous. She is a big star. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just the double standards, just because of like the age difference was insane. Yeah. And you pick up themes. There's also this yellow jacket. I think it's a big theme that Sue and Elizabeth wear throughout the movie. Yeah. When Elizabeth first started, like, knows about the substance. I think that is a symbolism of like how they're the same but different. Like moving forward, you're two but one. Like you're in the Matrix, but you're the same. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was just like an interesting touch, that yellow jacket. Yeah. And at the end, I think it just like disappeared.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So as I was watching them go back and forth, I was like, so Sue, also obviously she because she's doing this TV deal where she exercises every other week. Yeah. She's fully told them that she's like, I have to be out of town every other week.
Yes. Yes.
And Demi Moore is then not working and present during the weeks that Sue is off.
Yes.
And she doesn't have a job anymore because she got fired. And I was thinking, if you also took the substance and you had your younger double doing her thing, getting all the admiration, all that, soaking it all up.
Yeah.
And then you're quote unquote, I mean, you take the substance if you don't like who you are, right? In the moment. Yeah. So you're this, subjectively uglier, less attractive person of yourself. You don't have to work. Because Sue is doing all the work for you. What would you do? Is there anything that you would like pursue?
Not. I think the bigger thing is more about me not doing anything is okay as long as I'm getting the external validation, which has been keeping me going. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like, but you have a whole week.
I know.
To do nothing.
I mean, okay. I don't example, like. I want to ask you, right? You remember Jeff, like the one who asked Elizabeth out? Like he was like, "Hey, do you remember me from
her classmate
kindergarten?" Yeah. And he asked her out for a date, and you remember that scene? Like she had a whole week. Like she even decided to go on a date or something, and then her mood got ruined because she saw a big like what's it called? A poster or something about Sue. And then she started to grow self-conscious about how she looks. And so, like, I just want to ask you how you felt about that scene also.
a heartbreaking scene.
Yes.
I physically, like, my chest was aching. I was partially looking away. I was just like,
Yeah.
So also for context, there's a huge billboard of Sue in a very sexual position right outside because it's like she's in a high-rise building. And so she would look at the billboard and then go back into her bedroom or like bathroom unsatisfied, put more makeup on, look uglier in my opinion, come back out, see it again, add more, and then eventually she just had a breakdown and ended up not going to the date.
Yes.
And it broke my heart. She looked so stunning the first round.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for her. And then she locked eyes with that billboard. And I was like, my goodness. Like, it really broke my heart. Because I definitely have, like, getting ready to go somewhere, put my makeup on. I think I look great. And then I would, I'm waiting for a car to pick me up or whatever. And I'm on Instagram. And I see someone, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, maybe I don't
like you were in your head, you're like, oh my God, I'm the most beautiful girl.
Gorgeous thing on earth,
in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And you really feel it and your music is going. And then you see like one person or one, model and you're like, it happens to be something. And I'm like,
100%, yeah.
Or you would go in your own camera roll.
Yeah.
And you would see yourself younger or just other people and you're like,
angry. Yeah.
It literally, like, it goes from 0 to 100. Like, it
100%.
Goes, and so going back to those, and I'm very anti social media, by the way, at the moment. So,
she's better than everybody.
So, and I'm not saying social media is bad. I'm not. I mean, there are a lot of pros and cons. But for me at this time, I'm just like, I don't need that because it's just they're just we graduated from college recently. We're both young professionals. We haven't been working for more than a year, so there's a lot of doubt just inherently right now.
100%.
And I just don't want all that destruction. And so I went back to those younger days of me. Going from like, oh my gosh, my self-confidence is so high right now, and then it just plummeting after one picture. Yeah. And what was worse for her, she was looking at herself. She was looking at her
version
own
of herself.
image. Yeah, and they when she took the substance, I was like, oh, they're gonna be a team. She's gonna have a great time. This is what she's wanted. Yeah. But it literally killed her. It got her.
It really is. And by the way, she dies.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it was just just her almost harming herself to some degree when she when you see the beauty and you see them not see the beauty, it's such a conflicting thing.
You're like, come on.
It's so frustrating. Yeah. And also, again, we're in our 20s and seeing like a grown woman do that, it was even more heartbreaking, honestly.
It really is.
Yeah, it was a difficult thing to get through. How about you? What do you think?
It is very difficult, and something very, important, I think, when it comes to Jeff is, I think at that point, Demi, like on her birthday, actually it was her birthday. So the day she got fired was her 50th birthday. And everybody was saying, happy birthday, but she did not look anything near happy. Like, you can feel that she was anxious and dreading kind of like the number or like how much she's aging, and it was not a topic she wanted to even remember. Like, she did not, when people were like saying congrats for happy birthday, she was like, what? Oh yeah, it's my birthday, And so she had the accident. She went to the hospital. As she's leaving, she runs into Jeff, who was a former classmate, and he tells her, wow, you're still the most gorgeous girl on the planet. And I think at that point, like, nobody had said that to her, like, at least people in her surrounding. And it really just stuck with her because he's saying, back when I knew you in like kindergartner, and even to this day, you're the most stunning girl ever. And, when she found his number, she took his number and she found his number and dialed it up. And, she was happy that he wanted to go on a date. And wanted to grab drinks, and she looked so beautiful and excited to be out and be, like she looked like she came to terms with the like alternating bodies thing at that point. She's like, okay, 1 week here, 1 week there, I live my life kind of. And the fact that she was, like one look at Sue and she was just like going absolutely like the beauty she saw in herself like completely got disrupted. And it was interesting because you see how much like external effects have on your self-confidence and self-image. Like no matter how much you think you're beautiful and gorgeous and etc., if somebody comes and says, or like, like if somebody doesn't affirm that to a degree, or not even affirming, but like, you know what I'm saying, doesn't kind of align with how you see yourself.
Yeah, not only affirming, it's also like that woman literally, Sue, I'm saying, literally took over her life. So it's almost like it's not only affirming, it's like they literally said you are worse than her. She is better 100%. Than you.
Yes.
And so looking at her straight in the eye was like, I'm not worth it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it was
bad combination. Yeah. It was quite sad, yeah.
And it's another interesting aspect of it is when they give you the substance, and when this younger version of yourself appears, or better version of yourself, quote unquote, they say you are one. Like, you're one person. It's just like different bodies. Although I think they kind of share, like, I don't think they share the same mind, if that makes sense, because the decisions they make are not like when Sue is out, she's doing stuff, but then when Elizabeth is back, she's not aware of what Sue has been doing, and vice versa, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was wondering that throughout.
Yeah, me too.
They didn't make that clear. I think that was intentional, but what confirmed for me that they were not thinking the same things, or they weren't the same consciousness, when she started abusing the other body.
Yes.
I assume because she wanted to do the exact same, career. Yeah. Like she literally took over her show. I assume they were both
kind of competition or something.
No, I thought they were on the same page. I thought they were
like the same,
like one consciousness.
Mind. Yeah.
And then when it almost became a you versus me.
Literally.
Or like let the best man
win
or something. Woman, yeah. And so that was what confirmed it for me. But I was thinking about it the entire time. What I was thinking as I was watching it? Mm-hmm. When Sue started making friends and things like that, and then her first desire to extend her 7 days. Mm-hmm. It was the first time that she was like, actually pursuing a man.
Yes.
But it took her a while. And when I was watching the movie, I thought as soon as this girl is born and she is out and about in the world, I thought because of Demi's like suppression of any attention from men or women, I thought she would run and find a man to sleep with. But she didn't. And it took her time. And I was like, that really confirmed. No, I actually really loved that. Because I was like, yeah, she's dope. That'll do it. Yeah. But the truth is that she went and looked for a job. She got friends. Yeah. And then later she got a man. And that just says so much about girls and what we need. Because, I'm a girl myself. I fully expect her to go look for men. Not because I know Sue, but because I was like, that's women. Like that's not that that's how women want, but if I was like also maybe ignored for years, like you'd like think no attention, no nothing, and I suddenly become hot, I just really assumed that's what would happen. And the fact that she wanted a career first, and then she wanted a social circle, that says so much about women and what we actually really need, and how not only secondary but maybe even tertiary men really are that.
I think that is a great point.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I was like, it took weeks for her to actually bring somebody home.
That's true.
And she wanted, sure, validation by all means, but it wasn't a man's the first thing. And that, I'm sad to say that shocks me, but I love that fact. And now that I really think about it, our, validation, I think it comes from our peers first, regardless of what gender you are.
100%. Yeah. I am 100% with you.
Yeah.
All of this is, I think, it's like kind of shine a light on how much people saying stuff about ageism and like the way we view aging, especially when it comes to like a woman's features, is like heavily impacting how we see ourselves. Because like one, I think, very interesting like point of this movie, I don't know if I'm making this up or if I want this to be it. Like, you know how they're like Sue and Elizabeth are one, they don't share the same like consciousness, but like they're the same, right? And you know how when Sue started to abuse Elizabeth's body, it was very interesting to me how, regardless of how much Sue abused Elizabeth's body initially, like Elizabeth would always change back to Sue. Like, so basically you can overuse the substance. Like you always have to change on the seventh day, or else like something gruesome happens. Yeah, like it's weird. Like your leg starts like to age 100 years. Like just for Elizabeth, because Sue's the one overusing the time. But regardless of how much Sue uses like Elizabeth's time, Elizabeth never fails to change back to Sue. And I think that speaks volumes. Like, when you're, for example, if it comes to like drugs or like, because this substance thing is basically kind of like a drug, right? Like, it makes you feel good or whatever. And then you slowly start to like overuse it, like, because you're so addicted to the feeling. Like, that's
for real. And, it's interesting that you thought about it from the perspective of drugs. I thought about it from the perspective of like health in general, like overeating or not exercising or even alcohol. Because I'm like, it was almost like, Sue or like Elizabeth's character was our interior and like how we, or our source. Like even there was a time where Elizabeth was watching Sue on TV, like a recording.
Yeah.
And she said, and then the guy asked her, he's like, "Oh, where did you get your booty from? What do you attribute it to?" And then Elizabeth was screaming. She's like, "You got it from me! You got it from me!" And it's true. It's like we drink and we do all these things and we eat things we're not supposed to eat, or we starve ourselves, or all these extremes that we do to ourselves. I mean, we know what healthy means. We know what to do.
Exactly.
Everybody, most people on planet Earth know, at least from this Western perspective, of how to keep ourselves healthy.
Yes.
Eat this, proportion, minimum carbs, vegetables, minimum a day, the exercise, 10,000 steps. And
100%.
If we really wanted to, we could, do all these prescribed things. There are not that many people that do it.
Yeah.
But there are times, when you're just consciously like, I'm going to DoorDash today, I'm lazy. But we know that it's not doing anything. Like, it's not doing ourselves any favor.
Guilty.
I felt like I was extracting that serum from that, the body. So when I say the serum,
the spinal fluid?
Sue would extract the spinal fluid and inject it into herself, and that would regenerate her. And it's almost like all these bad things that we're doing, I felt like I was borrowing time that I didn't have also. And so, I don't do crazy things. Don't even give me. I don't do anything right now, but it's like
right now.
It's almost like we are everything that we do consciously, knowing that it's bad for us. But we need to understand their consequences. Like now, hopefully, our listeners stay safe out there, but we don't do anything crazy. So it's not like we're doing permanent damage to ourselves.
Yes.
But there are things that we do that we know are not right for us. And I'm not saying I'm never planning on being that perfect, but I don't know if anybody should be, because live your lives and all that. But we fully consciously do things knowing how bad it is for us. And this whole YOLO idea, I'm very heavily unsubscribed from that, but because it's very main character energy, and Tony knows how I feel about main character energy.
I think we should bring that up sometime.
Yeah, main character energy. Like Sue had main character energy.
She did. She was, and by the way,
it killed her customer. And also, everybody knows, I'm sure the viewers already, or listeners already know, if Elizabeth dies, Sue dies. Elizabeth cannot, Sue cannot live without Elizabeth. It's very clear. Like, it's a tale as old as time, right? I mean, you know, not only was that in the instructions, but we know that, you know, there's a balance in nature and everything. Yeah. And Sue really, I mean, she lived for herself. She had no, she completely ignored. It's not like she didn't know. She ignored what it would do to Elizabeth, for completely forgetting that they are one. And that one self-reflects on you.
Okay, I have a hot take on that. I don't think Sue forget or didn't care that Elizabeth was getting infected. I think Sue is the subconscious of Elizabeth. You know, I think
diggity dog. That was good.
The thing is, Elizabeth keeps even when they're she's oh, my body, it's deteriorating, it's decaying, and they're so do you want to stop? And she's no, people love that version of me, and even when it kills her, she wants Sue to be out there. So I'm Sue's her subconscious. Sue is how Elizabeth really sees herself, I think, deep down. Because, for example, do you remember the TV interview where Sue goes to a late show or something, and they're what do you think about Elizabeth? And do you remember the response she gave to the audience? She's I mean, I'm not really familiar with her work. I know my mom watches her. Or I think deep down, Elizabeth thinks of her, deeply thinks of herself as irrelevant and someone only for the older generation. And hence why she kind of resorted to extreme measures to look younger, or create this younger version of herself, aka Sue. And I think that kind of just it makes it deeper because they're one and the same. Sue is Elizabeth. She is her subconscious. She's what she really deep down thinks about herself and sees herself. Yeah, that's my hot take.
Oh, and that's a wrap. No, that was really good. No, that was really good. I that makes more sense to me. They're definitely not one, but now that you said that, they are one, just different layers of consciousness. Yeah. Because she never wanted to stop. Yeah. But I think that's true.
I think so too. Even when she wanted it to stop, at some point Elizabeth turns into this I don't want to say monster, but basically this monster. I would say she looks weird.
Alien. And I need to. This is a good time to commend her, Demi Moore's performance.
Yes. Yeah. Oh wow.
She scared me. She intrigued me. She was so incredible.
Multi-dimensional.
First of all, she had all of the cosmetics and the everything was she had a lot of things on her. Yeah. To appear like this wicked witch of the West vibe. Or maybe not wicked witch of the West, the evil queen vibe. Like Snow White vibe. Yeah. Yeah. And she just I felt the anger. Yes. I felt the betrayal. It was just, and okay, this might sound a little pretentious, but I really felt that it wasn't betrayal oh, my friend stabbed me in the back. That was self-betrayal anger. Do you know what I mean? It was, I didn't I could tell the difference, but now when I think about it, I think what really, the reason why it stood out so much was she wasn't, you have this revenge vibe, this revenge energy. It wasn't even revenge. It was greater than that. It was it really was a self-betrayal thing. You know when you're just pissed at yourself? Yeah. And you are really angry though? Yeah. Yeah. You're I don't know, messing up your bed or something. It's girl, that's your own bed. You're the one that's today. Yeah. It just really was giving self-betrayal. And she just blew, she was incredible. She was incredible. Freaked me out. Yeah, she freaked me out. Yeah. And I loved it. It was getting creepier as the movie went on. As in, like, her older body, like, she couldn't extend her knees, that she couldn't stand up. Weird. And a lot of cracking and stuff. So for me, it also hit, like, the whole, like, aging thing really got me. And, that notion of, enjoy your youth, you're going to get old and all that kind of stuff. And for her, it accelerated so quickly. That message hit me also of, like, don't rush given time, present time, or whatever the phrase is.
Yeah. Like, just live it where you
live
are.
In the moment, No, she straight up couldn't stand up from the couch because her knee lost.
Crazy.
She had to snap it back. Oh, yeah, it was a bit intense.
It was kind of, I straight up was not looking when that happened.
It was a bit.
Covered my ears and turned my face away. Yeah. Also interesting when, so at some point, Demi just looked unrecognizable. Like like I said, alien. And then she wanted it to stop. Like she was like, yeah, like if I don't do this, I'll die. So you can call the substance people and they'll give you like this exterminating kind of elixir or whatever. And so, it's like in the syringe. And, as she's administering that to Sue, midway, she looks at the big billboard and Sue's supposed to like host this New Year's Eve special, which is like the network's biggest like night, I think.
Event of the year,
yeah. And then mid administering that, she's like, no. Like she stops and she's like, no. Like people love you. You have to be there. And she's saying that to Sue, aka what we think is her subconscious. So like she's dying. She looks unrecognizable. And yet she's like, this is what people love. This is what people want. Like you're the pretty one. You have to be out there to receive all this external validation. And that spoke volumes to me because like, it's like misuse or overuse of like the substance or whatever. And like, yeah, like it's applicable to drugs and etc. But like, in Hollywood or in the entertainment industry, when people overdo Botox or like facial procedures and like they don't realize that they're doing too much, like they don't see it, but it's like, bro, you're literally low-key killing yourself. Like you're blocking your artery, like some kind of blood vessel that's important. Like it's too much. And anyways, it was just so crazy because and then also Sue starts to break down. Like, because, she killed Elizabeth, by the way. Sue.
Okay, wait, before we get there, so basically Elizabeth was killing Elizabeth, like Swati said, she was midway, and then she decided not to, and Sue wakes up. And for the first time ever, they're both awake at the same time.
Ooh.
And then Sue sees that the syringe says terminate on it. So like that was like that final round or whatever, right?
To get rid of her,
And then when she saw that, Sue became angry. And there's supposed to be one, right? But anyway, she became so angry, she started chasing her around the house, wanting to kill her.
Also,
I just want to say, girl, that was so funny.
Like, why is her kick so strong? So I was like, she was launching her into the air. I was like, okay.
When that dude, Demi was like zooming. She was like, stand up. Why are you working?
I was like, is it just me or is she like running super fast?
Literally.
She's like,
she was outrunning
back in the house.
What is going on? You know that was in Naruto where he puts his hands behind his back? What? You went from being immobile
That's funny.
to zooming down the hallway.
But those cockroaches that are around the house that you're like trying to kill? Like that's how she looked.
Yeah,
she was like zooming.
Unpack, just zooming. Yeah.
Wow.
But that was interesting. Yeah, that was very bloody. And so she killed her in a very violent manner. Sue killed Elizabeth, her host, or whatever you want to call her. What was the matrix? What was the word?
The main form.
Yeah, the OG. The older woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when she killed her, I expected immediate deterioration or something, but because as she was like crushing her skull and kicking her ribs in, I was like,
that was true.
The whole time I was like, I mean, she's not stupid. Like, she has a job. I'm like, she's not dumb. Like,
she needs her spinal fluid to a degree.
I was like, she needs the fluid to regenerate.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, I don't think they can exist like without
the other body.
Yeah, and I was like, that was the point where the movie was derailing a little bit for me. I was like, there's no way she would have to devise some kind of plan to keep her alive because Sue knows that she's not gonna live. So that's when I was like, the movie wasn't making sense to me anymore. Yeah. But something I realized as we were having this conversation was the movie went from picturesque, very OCD, very, bulk letters, clear cut, vivid colors, to bloody, old lady zooming around the house. And then I'll keep going with the plot where so at the start of this whole process, the first thing that you have to administer to yourself is an activator substance that you do once, and it very clearly says single use, throw away after use. And she kept that, and so Sue remembered that. And look, we need to unpack the fact that she kept it. Why did she keep it, do you think, Sonia?
I have no thought.
Why would you keep something that says single use, throw away after use?
Do you have any thoughts about that? Because
I don't have many, but I know that there's got to be something, because I'm like, I think it just adds to her desperation of wanting for this to work, like to the point where you keep something that clearly says it's not going to work anymore, but just in case something. It's like, girl, they're telling you it's not going to work, but she's not. Like, she's so attached to it, she doesn't want to
get rid of it.
Get that. Yeah, she just getting rid of it is almost like losing a chance to do it again, or it's almost like when you just hoard things, because you hoard it because like one day I might need it. Yeah. It's like it just really speaks volumes to her desperation, I think, for this to work. Anyway, so Sue remembered this thing. There's only half of it left, and again, the camera zoomed into the whole single use label, and then she did it, and then she started throwing up and all that kind of. Oh no, wait, I'm skipping so much.
There is like
I'm skipping a lot. So anyway, Sue decides it's the New Year's Eve night, and then she goes, and she gets in this beautiful Cinderella-esque dress.
Yes.
And everybody's like, they're gonna love you, and she receives all these flowers and all these gift baskets, and the dancers are getting ready, and the producers are, praising her, and then and then take it from there. Is that when her teeth start falling out?
Yes, that is when Sue also starts decaying.
Yeah, so Sue starts decaying, where she starts her front teeth start coming out, and eventually, she makes it out of and she's also needs regeneration, right? So she's kind of like, coughing and needs to
the fluid,
get that fluid, right?
Yeah.
So she makes it home. She administers the last, the second half of the activator fluid, and an even crazier monster is born.
Yeah,
it is so visually unappealing.
I will see it in my nightmare.
Yeah, no, that's when the horror movie vibe
started for me.
Because at the end of horror movies where it's like the creepy thing, or like the thing that's been like. Or if anybody has seen Smile, like that monster that lives within them or whatever.
Is that on part
It looked like that. In part one, it was there in both.
Okay.
And so, it was a lot. And anyway, so I wanted to make this contrast between the whole, like, everything was so clean and OCD, and then it went to, like, this ugly thing. And Demi Moore's whole face was on its back.
On the back. That was
and it had, like, two sets of teeth, one in its neck and one in its... Anyway,
it was this weird
ugly thing.
Yeah.
Somehow, okay, so again, this is, I guess, goes more into, like, the story and not necessarily, like, the logic is out the window now, but it's, like, more for the storytelling aspect. Somehow makes it back. I don't know, did she drive? I don't know, but makes it back. Goes through all the backstage people. Staples a picture of Demi Moore's face. I mean, yeah, whatever. Elizabeth Sparkle's face.
Yeah.
To her own face and makes it to the stage. I have a question for you, though, and I don't have an answer. Okay. Why did she staple Elizabeth Sparkle's face instead of Sue's face?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
That is a great point. I was also kind of surprised. I'm like, you want that face?
Exactly. Because if it's her subconscious, you know, you would think that
it's like she wouldn't think she
would do the pretty one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and also, another thing that was going through my head, and which I am not really sure what the answer is now, but they were, I was like, who is in charge right now? I was like, is it Sue? Is it?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's where, like, the second question, just my theory, and the first question also kind of, I don't know, but this is what I'm thinking. For the second question, I think, you know, both Sue and Elizabeth were in charge, because Sue was, like, at the back, like, her entire face was there, but then you see Elizabeth's, like, I mean, Sue's, like, eyes, you know, like, features of Sue.
Sue was in the front, and
Sue was in the front, and then, like,
Sue was in the front and Demi was in the back.
Yes.
So it's almost like Demi's in control, but the forward-facing
she's manifesting Sue. Yes, that's Sue. So I think, like, that kind of drives the point that they're, like, one and the same, like, conscious, subconscious, like, it's the same thing. But then I think for the first question of, like, why Elizabeth's face, I think a big part of it is, like, the only picture big enough in that place where there's a pretty woman smiling was, like, Elizabeth's face, and the director of the show was like, you know, pretty girls should smile, etc. But I think what I'm thinking right now, like, in theory level, is, so, like, now there's this monster, which is, like, you don't even want to look at it. And, you know, at some point, when, like, you've done so much to yourself to escape who you were, and then you're like, this is so much worse, I just want to go back to what I was. It's like what I used to be. Like, that's okay. I think maybe that has, like, plays a little bit of a role. It's like, okay, now I look like this.
No, I agree.
You know, let's take it back to how it was before all of this began. I don't know.
I agree.
Because well, if you think about it, because, like, the entire point of Elizabeth kind of going younger is because as she was aging, she was, the main reason is, like, she was losing that love and affection and, like wanted feeling from other people, correct? And damn, I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but I promise. No, it was like,
I told y'all she's crazy.
I have, like, slight memory issues.
No, we're in the woods of it. Yeah. So in the thick of it. So
what was I gonna say? The entire point of her was, like, if it was being wanted and being seen and being cared for. But I think, I completely forgot the point. It was a great point, though. Y'all missed out. I will put it in the description box.
Yeah. But the thought of, I'm still honestly where, why was Demi's face at the back? And it was her whole face. So it wasn't even like a deformed face. And also her mouth was open, like her jaw was stuck.
It was. She was like
you could hear like that. Like she fully. And I think that speaks volumes also. Like she's the engine behind the pretty face that is Sue, that she wants to present, and she's stuck. She can't move on.
Yeah.
She's at a point where she, you know what I mean? And so I think that was very intentional, Anyways, after that, it was bloody. It was chaotic.
Yeah.
The logic went out the window. Everybody was shook. Everybody was running around.
Yeah.
And but the ending was really cool, and it ended the way that it started.
Yes.
And essentially,
so how do you feel about the ending?
Wait, I'm not done.
Yeah,
Wait. So basically, so people try to kill her. It doesn't work. She regenerates.
She's a monster.
Strange thing. Yeah. Eventually, there's almost like it has like a bit of a Stranger Things vibe, for our listeners to visualize it. But it's almost like some goop, like red, like human matter with Demi's face travels on the floor and then makes it back to her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yep. And she falls into the cracks. I want to say she just is absorbed into the star.
Yes.
And then it ends like a janitor or whatever cleaning up the blood or whatever that was removed. And so I think, what do you think of the ending?
I want to really hear your thoughts.
No, but I really want to hear your thoughts.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So we all love a full circle moment. It started with the Walk of Fame and it ended with the Walk of Fame.
Yes.
For me, I mean, it probably is a bit of a stretch, but this is how I'm choosing to take it. It's almost like, okay, so in real life, when it comes to these issues of self-confidence and insecurities and even trauma or whatever it is. Actually, I don't want to speak on trauma. That's a little medical for me, but just I want to talk about general things that we go through, especially at our ages and younger. Also, I mean, honestly, all ages, to be honest. I mean, we literally just saw in this movie. She was 50, but you are the answer when it comes to this kind of stuff. You are the only one that you need to be ready. You need to be aware. It's not really something that people can pick you out of. And I think the fact that her goo matter sought the Hollywood Walk of Fame and went back to her. I'm not saying she realized that, she's the solution or anything, but I think her comfort ultimately is her. And she went back to Elizabeth Sparkle and not to Sue. And I think for me, the fact that she went back there is just it's almost like the self-love came back. She, like you said, the point that you started and didn't finish, where you wait, what was that point? Remind me.
The entire the purpose of it was to get external validation.
No, it was give me a second. Don't speak. You're gonna confuse me. It was about like a self-conscious thing. No, but it was. She went back to herself, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it all just comes back to her realizing that. Oh, okay. The point that you said that when she did the activator thing again, she realized that she just wanted to go back to the original.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It just got so much worse, and she wanted to go back. And I think that's when she was just honestly, leave all of this stuff. I just want to be back to myself. Almost like a Control Z, guys. Do you know what I mean? I think ultimately, not that she realized that she's but she was just I was actually better off when it was just me, regardless. So it's almost like a self-love thing. Not that there was a big realization, but almost I want to go home.
Yeah,
I want to go home.
Be who I am.
Exactly. This is obviously a letter to her.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just I would and this is the arc of a lot of movies, have you seen Click by Adam Sandler by any chance?
Oh, that was a while ago. Great movie.
Yeah, but remember how he was remote controlling his whole life?
Yeah.
And he just wanted to go back to the start?
Yeah,
Because when you just manipulate your own life too much, you just gotta leave it. And she was like, I just want to go back.
Yes.
Back to 999. Anyways, you get what I'm trying to say. And so that's my thought on the ending in a very long and broken up way. But what do you think?
I think exactly what your thought. Like, she was just like, why did I do this to myself?
Exactly.
Like, this was too much. Like, it was not worth going through all of this. Or honestly, I didn't sense much of like regret. It's more of like, I dare I say, like, a peace of mind.
Yeah.
That, like, I think it gave her a peace of mind, the fact that even if she was younger, kind of just didn't solve much. Like, it was just very much.
It didn't solve anything. No, it didn't solve anything. Yeah. She died. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. She's just like, I went through all of that, and it really just didn't fix anything. And she's just looking at the stars as she's standing on her Hollywood sign, like her Walk of Fame. And she's just like,
it was like an acceptance, right? Like, she was like, I would rather go back to this cracked up, ketchup stained sign that is me than do and then be Sue ever again, or like at least strive to, or even admire Sue, kind of.
Yeah, just like how irrelevant it is, like how society really makes us feel about our exteriors.
Yes.
She's like, damn, all of that was irrelevant. It just led to my ultimate demise. And I think it makes you think. You're like, I personally, for one, am someone, I think like everybody else, gets affected by like perception, right? Like, you're like, oh, how does society perceive me? Or like, am I following societal norms? Or like, just XYZ. I feel like it's something every woman, every girl kind of just like goes through. And it made me think. I'm like, yeah, but like, to what degree is it going to control my life? Like, right now it's okay, but like at some point I really just have to, make myself believe like that no matter how anybody thinks about my exterior, like how I look, or how, whatever ageism and etc., like, it shouldn't get to my mind, because when it does, that's when I high-key start hating myself as well, like, without realizing it. You know what I'm saying?
Snap to that.
Snap. So, great movie. It really...
Great movie. Okay, sis, score out of 10.
Score out of 10. Honestly, okay, I just want to ask you, isn't it weird that it's a horror movie?
Is it a horror movie? Isn't
it is. On the description, it's like a horror movie. Horror drama or something.
It was quite dramatic. I don't know about horror is actually good. I thought it was thrilling.
I saw horror, yeah.
The substance. Not see. Oh, yeah, it's horror sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ending was definitely very horror.
Kind of, but like...
But I wouldn't really categorize it as horror.
It's very much kind of like thriller, like you said.
It was quite thrilling. Yeah, but okay. Actually, let's do percentage. Let's do like a cut to the field meter.
Ooh, okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so creative. This is why we have her. Okay, good. Everybody's so creative. Okay. Percentage, right? You want to do it at the same time?
No.
Just see how, because Mary and I are connected on a cosmic level. You gotta put it to the test. Come on.
Yeah. No. Okay. Wait. What's the other thing? Wait. Okay. I need to think though. Give me a second.
Okay. So out of 100.
Like a percentage. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Give me a second. It's because just like the last like 15 minutes, I was like, what on God's
yeah, no same. I don't think I watched like most of the last 15 minutes, to be fair. It was too much.
It was a lot. And I'm objectively appreciating the contrast.
Yeah.
But it contrasted. Yeah.
It was too much contrast.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have as a whole, like,
okay, I'm ready.
I don't think it's gonna be the same, but let's go for it. Okay.
Ready?
3,
3, 2,
1.
79.
79. Oh, that's crazy.
I'm a little bit scared. I'm like looking around my apartment. What's going on?
Bro, it's because you're connected on a cosmic level. Bro, that's crazy.
I actually am not happy. I'm scared. I'm not pleased. Stop laughing. This is weird. There were 100 different choices, or 99 different choices. Actually, because of 0.
There was a 1%.
So there were 101 choices.
Wow.
There were 100. Wow. Damn. Well, you heard it here first.
Literally, by the way, I'm all the way in the West. We are literally recording this interview on a phone call. Like, I'm all the way in the West Coast, and she's in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Not on FaceTime. It's a phone call. Like, we don't.
But we do plan on updating very soon. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But just for context, how this is not. We really are just.
I don't appreciate this.
No, I'm also freaked out. I'm like, I straight up was like, there's no way, because the number's so odd and just like.
Yeah.
That's
so crazy. I think we just maybe just our scoring mechanisms have kind of just like become similar because of all the scorings we did when we were
okay, it could be.
But wow,
crazy.
I love that. Folks. We need a counter. Like now, 1 out of 1, we got the same. Like, or maybe we should do like within like a. Should do it like in a 2% range or something.
Okay. I think like we'll see, lower. Yeah.
And also, there'd be times where you like it more than me, and then
100%. But even with this, I'm like, we didn't. I don't think.
And it's our first episode. How lucky is that?
Wow, that was great.
That's so crazy. Yeah. But all right, I think we should conclude.
Yeah, this was a great one. We recommend watching.
Yes, definitely a recommendation.
And let us know your thoughts on.
Yes.
Is there like we have an email account that we're gonna link to the podcast?
Yes.
Can we link that for like feedback?
Yes, feedback for sure. Let us know. Okay. We'll also have a form. Yeah. So let us know. We're open to books. We love reading books. Yeah. And talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Series, like any kind of shows.
TV shows. We prefer limited ones.
Yes, those are and talk about it. Cooler. Yeah.
Yes. And movies, of course.
Yes.
And and we definitely want to hear from you guys. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for tuning in.
We appreciate the support.
Hope you guys had fun and found it insightful.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.